Hare Krishna. Can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Is my voice audible? Hare Krishna. Okay, let's start. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing from the 26th chapter of the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, we did complete this chapter yesterday. I'll do a quick recap of this chapter before we start the 27th chapter. So this chapter is titled as King Puranjan goes to the forest to hunt and his queen becomes angry. So this is the episode where Narada Muni is narrating to King Prachina Barhishad, who is a descendant of Dhruva Maharaj, but who is completely absorbed in the Karmakandiya sacrifices, and he has not embraced the path of bhakti because of lack of sukriti. The Narada Muni is giving him his association here. He is giving him his association by narrating an allegorical story of a king named Puranjan, even though that Puranjan is actually a living entity. Actually, that Puranjan is Prachina Barhi only. Okay. So he's narrating to Prachina Barhi about the life and the destination of a king whom he has just renamed as Puranjan, but it is actually Prachina Barhi. But if he hears that Puranjan story, then he will understand how I am uselessly utilizing my life and I should be better utilizing it. I should be utilizing it much better than this. So with that purpose, he narrates the story of Puranjan, who is actually Prachina Barhishad only. So, anyways, now I'll do a quick recap. I need a volunteer who can read with me. Anyone who would like to volunteer to read? No one? Yes, Ramani Tunga Vidyaman.
Once upon a time, King Puranjana took up his great bow and equipped with golden armor and an inexhaustible quiver, accompanied by a commander among 11. He sat on his chariot driven by 5 swift horses and went to the forest.
Once upon a time, soul Puranjan, endowed with the mentality of doer and enjoyer, which is compared to the bow, and equipped with the mode of passion, which is the golden armor, and unlimited material desires, which is the inexhaustible quiver, along with his mind and senses, which is compared to the 11 servants with mind as the commander, sat on his chariot, which is the body, which was driven by 5 swift horses, which is the 5 Gyanendriyas, and went to the forest, which means he went there to perform sinful sense gratification.
The gold chariot had 2 shafts, 2 wheels, 1 axle, 3 flags, 5 supports, 1 rein, one chariot driver, 1 sitting place, 2 poles to which the yoke was fixed, 5 weapons, and 7 protective coverings.
So this is the description of the chariot, which means this is the description of the body, human body. The body, which is the golden chariot, was made up of 2 shafts, which is Ahankar and Mamakar, 2 wheels, which is the sinful and the pious activities, 1 axle, which is the Pradhan, 3 flags, which are the 3 gunas, 5 supports, which is the 5 pranas, 1 rein, which is the mind, 1 chariot driver, which is the intelligence, 1 sitting place, which is the heart, 2 poles to which the yoke was fixed, which is lamentation and illusion, 5 weapons. What are the 5 weapons? Hearing, smelling, and the other acts of the Gyanendriyas, the Tanmatra, and 7 protective coverings, which are the 7 dhatus.
The chariot moved to 5 destinations.
The body performed 5 actions like walking, etc., through the 5 karmendriyas. This is compared to the 5 destinations.
Fond of hunting, giving up his wife, King Puranjana took his bow and arrow and went to hunt in the forest.
Fond of committing sinful sense gratification, which is compared to hunting, and giving up his dharmic intelligence in the form of his wife, absorbed in being the enjoyer, which means he took up the bow and endowed with attraction and repulsion, which is the arrows. Soul Puranjana went to commit sinful sense gratification, which is compared to hunting in the forest.
Taking shelter of demoniac tendencies with a vicious heart, without compassion, King Puranjana killed wild animals with his sharp arrows.
Taking shelter of demoniac tendencies with a vicious heart without compassion, soul Puranjan engaged in sinful enjoyment, which is killing the animals, endowed with attraction and repulsion, which is the arrows. Go ahead, Natish.
Dharmic hunting, according to the scriptures, means only a king can kill, only if he is greedy for meat. He should kill only those animals suitable sacrifice. Killing can be done only on special Shraddha dates, only in the forest, only as much as necessary and not more.
Okay, so here, as a slight detour, he is clarifying, Narada Muni is clarifying that yes, actually hunting is allowed for Kshatriyas. So here, his hunting is said to be sinful because it is not following the Dharmashastric rules of hunting. What is of you can say dharmic hunting? So dharmic hunting according to scripture means only a king can kill, only if he is greedy for meat, and only those animals which are suitable for sacrifice, and it can be done only on Shraddha dates and not on the regular. If every day someone is doing a ritual for their forefathers, they cannot kill. And only it has to be done only in the forest and only as much as necessary and not more. These rules are there, and apparently Puranjana was not following these rules. That's why it is considered to be sinful.
If one acts according to the spiritual injunctions, then he is not bound by the reactions, and such acts are not born out of demoniac tendencies.
So if Puranjan would have acted according to the scriptural injunctions, then it would not have been considered as sinful. But apparently he was just acting according to the force of his vasanas, and he breached the scriptural injunctions and killed animals for his own gratification at unsanctioned time, apparently probably at unsanctioned time, or an unsanctioned animals were killed. So that's why it is considered to be sinful.
But if he performs unregulated actions, he then thinks himself the doer and becomes bound by those actions. Failing under the influence by the gunas, he loses his intelligence and sinks down.
So if he performs unregulated actions, not being regulated by the Shastras, then he comes more and more under the influence of doer mentality. We were discussing the other day that, yes, just because someone follows the Dharma Shastras and engages in actions for personal gratification, does it mean they don't have doer mentality? No, they do have doer mentality, but just the acceptance of the Shastras and willing to subordinate one's actions according to the guidelines of the Shastras is a very positive step in the direction of declaring that, yes, I am not the independent doer, I am dependent. So, to declare one's dependence is a step forward in the direction of accepting that I am not the doer. So, one cannot directly jump from accepting that, from accepting oneself to be the independent doer to not doer. So the logical next step would be to accept from being independent doer to a dependent doer. And gradually one can move in the direction of being and the non-doer. So therefore, is accepting the scriptures is a positive step in that direction. That's what here Narada Muni is indicating. Anyways, coming back to the story continues.
Such a violent killing by King Puranjana was unbearable for compassionate people.
Such sinful acts by soul Puranjan was unbearable for the compassionate devotees.
After killing animals appropriate for sacrifice, King Puranjana became tired.
Then, after engaging in sinful enjoyment, soul Puranjana became repentant, which is compared to becoming tired.
Then, exhausted from hunger and thirst, he gave up hunting and returned home.
Then, troubled on remembering his sinful acts, which is compared to becoming exhausted from hunger and thirst, he gave up those sinful acts, which means he gave up hunting, and returned home, which means he re-established himself in dharma.
He took bath, ate proper food.
He invited the Brahmanas and had them perform atonements for him, which is compared to taking bath. He also gave up meat and liquor and started to eat proper food. This is compared to the taking bath and eating proper food also refers to accepting a spiritual master and hearing from him about the values of life. That's also he did.
Thus, being refreshed, he took rest.
Thus, he became steadily situated in his dharmic state.
He worshipped himself. He worshipped himself with incense, ointments, and garland.
So, worshipping oneself means purifying oneself, and the incense, ointments, and garland refers to honoring devotees, sages, and wise men, and hearing instructions on dharma from them. So that is what is compared. So this is the typical position of a general dharmic person, but sometimes when he gets distracted by his sinful sense gratificatory vasanas and he gets distracted, then he comes back on track. His endeavor to come back on track is what is being discussed here. So this description has a parallel to sadhakas also, who have not yet crossed the stage of anartha nivritti. This is a very relevant description, that how when repentance kicks in, as soon as one strays away from the proper anukul activities for bhakti and engages in some activities which are pratikul for bhakti, then what happens? What is the result of such an engagement is being described here. So he worshipped himself means, a sadhaka also may, once that repentance kicks in, it is very natural for such a person to go and approach senior devotees and hear good instructions from them and try to get back on track.
With well-groomed body, he then remembered his queen.
So well-groomed body means when he becomes completely attached to the Shastric injunctions, he immediately remembered his dharmic intelligence, which means that uh, this is for the Puranjan, but for the sadhakas, he immediately remembers his spiritual intelligence. Of course, what Puranjan has is a dharmic material intelligence, not spiritual.
He was satisfied, joyful, and very proud.
His impressions of sinful life had left him. That's what is indicated here.
He became lustily inclined towards his queen.
So, when that regret flushes away the past material vasanas to some extent, then that regretful soul, whether he is dharmic or a sadhaka, he becomes eager to reunite with his dharmic intelligence, which is for uh, dharmic person, and spiritual intelligence, which is for a sadhaka.
But he could not see her.
This is the point. So even though one might have given up sinful life, he may be regretful and he may desire to get a spiritual intelligence back or dharmic intelligence back. It will not appear immediately, which means he will not be able to, uh, immediately take up to with the same determination, discrimination, memory. They will not return back. It will take some time. So, therefore, it is additional work, additional time to get back on track. So one should be very careful not to get distracted in this way. That's what is being described here. So he becomes very eager to reunite back with his queen, which is his dharmic intelligence, but he is not able to see her, which means he is not able to return back on track immediately.
Somewhat dejected, he asked his queen's maidservants if they were in good health.
Somewhat dejected, Soul Puranjan inquired about the welfare of the functions of intelligence, which is determination, discrimination, and other such things. Are you in good health? You don't seem to be working to your full capacity. Are you in good health? Like that, he was inquiring.
King Puranjana tells the maidservants, the whole palace is not attractive due to the absence of my queen. It is like a chariot without wheels.
So, the soul communicates to the functions of intelligence that this whole body is not attractive to me due to the absence of my dharmic intelligence. It is like a chariot without wheels.
Where is this woman who enlightens me and delivers me from samsara?
Where is this intelligence which enlightens me and delivers me from samsara? This is how he is inquiring. So now,
Maidservants replied, we do not know the intentions of your queen. See her lying on the ground without bedding.
so the functions of intelligence replied, we do not know the intentions of your intelligence. See that it has left your heart, which is compared to the bedding. So the bedding is compared to the heart of Puranjan, and apparently he had left the heart.
Seeing
So,
her, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Seeing her lying on the ground, anxious to be with her again, King Puranjana became miserable.
Seeing the dharmic intelligence had left the heart and anxious to reunite with it, soul Puranjana became miserable.
He pacified her with sweet words filled with regret.
Puranjan, the soul, pacified his dharmic intelligence with lots of efforts and regret. So this is, you can say, dharmic intelligence, you can say, instead of soul Puranjan, you can say sadhaka Puranjan. Instead of dharmic intelligence, you can say spiritual intelligence. It means the same.
He pacified her by touching her 2 feet.
So this is symbolically, it means he pacified the dharmic intelligence by giving up false ego and respecting the devotees, which is compared to the 2 feet. So this is what is the meaning of respecting the intelligence, spiritual intelligence, which means to give up false ego and consciously try to act on the platform of true ego and by respecting the devotees.
He then put her on his lap.
He then reinstated his dharmic intelligence in his heart. Did we miss anything?
King Puranjana tells his queen, "Fortunate is that servant who is punished by his master for committing a sin."
Soul Puranjan tells his dharmic intelligence, the Supreme Lord has punished me to teach me. I will not again give up dharmic intelligence in his life, in this life. So this is important because if the dharmic intelligence or the spiritual intelligence could come back immediately, even if one may stray back to adharmic life for a short while and then realizes the mistake and comes back, and if immediately the dharmic intelligence would come back, then the person would become very, um, that would be taken very cheaply. The intelligence would be taken very cheaply. One would not become very careful next time. So, therefore, one has to earn it. When you make a mistake, you have to earn the trust back, and it takes more effort to earn the trust back. So then, when you earn it, you will value it. So therefore, here you see, Puranjan is trying very hard to earn it back, and he appreciates it. He says that yes, fortunate is that servant who is punished by his master for committing a sin. Okay, yeah.
Only a foolish person would become angry at being so punished.
I had given up dharmic intelligence and now repent. That is my punishment given by you. It is the highest mercy, for I will not sin again.
Now that you have punished me, please show your beautiful face.
Now that you have punished me, please become merciful to me now by becoming steady.
Except for Brahmana and Vaishnava, I will punish anyone who has offended you.
If I have faults because of old impressions or committing sin, I will perform charity, vows, and pious acts to atone. But if an obstacle has arisen from the anger of a Brahmana or offense to a Vaishnava, that is very difficult to remove. Except for offenses to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, I can make atonement. The only relief for offending these two is their mercy and nothing else.
I have never seen you so dull and sullen.
I've never seen you so inactive. So Puranjan is addressing his intelligence. I've never seen you so inactive. Where is your determination? Where is your discrimination? Where is the memory? I used to have all these things before. Now you have become so inactive. I've never seen you so inactive.
Please be kind to me, embrace me, and do not give up. Give me up.
Please be pleased and reside in my heart. Like that. So thank you, Mataji. So this is where we ended our discussion yesterday. So just for a change, because we have completed this chapter, uh, should we, were there any unanswered questions yesterday? Probably not. So what we will do is, we will continue with the new chapter. If you have any unanswered questions on this particular chapter, please do note it down on a piece of paper or type it in the chat box. Then once we cover some portions from the new chapter, we will pause for some discussion points and questions, and then we will take it there. So let us start the new chapter. The new chapter is the 27th chapter. The 27th chapter is titled Puranjana Enjoys Life. Puranjana enjoys life. So let us start. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So Narada Muni continues this allegorical story. Ittam Puranjanam Sadyag Vashamaniya Vibramaihi Puranjani Maharaja Reme Ramayati Patim. O Maharaja, O King, Puranjani, Puranjana's wife, Ramayati, who gave him enjoyment, Reme Patim Puranjanam, enjoyed with her husband Puranjan, Sadrag Vashamani, who was completely controlled, Vibramaihi, by her charming actions. Puranjana's wife, who gave him enjoyment, enjoyed with her husband Puranjan, who was completely controlled by her charming actions. What does this mean? Of course, the wife is dharmic intelligence. Puranjana is the soul. He was completely controlled by his intelligence, which means he was identifying with the material body, gross and subtle, and he was completely responding to all the, you know, orders put forth by the material body. The 27th chapter describes how Puranjan, endowed with proper intelligence, dharmic intelligence, performed pious acts, but became afflicted by old age and disease, which is described through another story. Dharmic Jiva, encountering some obstacles, becomes contaminated internally by various sins. He then regains his intelligence and performs charity, vows, and atonements. However, because the contamination does not leave his mind, he becomes torn apart by constant regret. Okay. Jishavanascha tankaman dukkodarkamscha garhayan. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam says about the situation of a Vaidhi sadhaka who has not yet crossed the stage of anartha nivritti. So whenever the anartha push him to, someone says that my voice is low. Is my voice low? Oh, in between my voice becomes low. Oh, is that so? Okay. Okay, let's see. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is it better now? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let us continue. Uh, However, because the contamination does not leave his mind, he becomes torn apart by constant regret. We were discussing, right? Jushamanascha tan kaman dukkodarkanscha garhayan. This is the verse which describes the position of a sadhaka who has not yet crossed the stage of anarthana vritti. That time and again, when the material vasanas pull him and make him surrender to the force of that conditioning, once he comes out of that, he becomes very regretful. There is guilt. He is consumed by guilt. Jushamanascha tan kaman dukkodarkanscha garhayan. There is repentance. By good fortune, he attains his proper intelligence. This has been described. This chapter describes his household life with proper conduct and intelligence rules ruled by dharma as previously. Okay. So now he has given up his sinful life and he is going to live a dharmic life again. He was controlled completely by her affectionate actions. Giving up the inclination for sinful life, the jiva becomes attached to dharmic intelligence as before. So becoming completely enamored by her means, because that queen is dharmic intelligence, he became completely controlled by dharmic tendencies. Now, my question for you is that you all have been attending these sessions for a long time. Many of you have been attending these sessions for the last 3 years almost. Bhagavatam, and some of you even before that. So can you recollect some section of Srimad Bhagavatam, some other section of Bhagavatam, where a very similar sequence is described in a series of chapters, just like this is an allegorical description, but the other description is a more direct description of a similar, um, you know, how a jiva sometimes takes up to sinful life and how he suffers, and then how he gets back to dharmic life and how he lives his life with along in a very dharmic way. But still, because he has not accepted bhakti, it is not very good. Then later he accepts bhakti and how the life becomes successful. Do you remember any other section of Srimad Bhagavatam where a similar series of descriptions is there? Yes, Kapila Dev's teachings. Kapila Dev's teachings. Exactly. Kapila Dev's teachings also. In the last few chapters, similar series of chapters come. Okay. Kapila Dev's teachings. Okay. Saraja Mahishim Rajan Susnatam Ruchirananam Kritaswastayanam Triptam Abhyanandat Upagatam. O Rajan, Saraja Abhyanandat Triptam Mahishim. The king welcomed the satisfied queen. The king welcomed the satisfied queen, Ruchira Ananam, with attractive face, to Snatam, who had bathed, Krita Swastyayanam, who had dressed auspiciously, Upagatam, and then approached him. So the king welcomed the satisfied queen with attractive face, who had bathed, dressed auspiciously, and then approached him. Seeing the happiness of his dharmic intelligence and freed from contaminations in his mind, he felt successful. So naturally, when there is sufficient regret, sufficient endeavor from the side of the sadhaka, when the spiritual intelligence returns back slowly, he's properly bathed, properly dressed, and all that indicates that the intelligence is coming back to its original power. The jiva becomes happy and the jiva welcomes this spiritual intelligence, the sadhaka or the dharmic person, you can say. Tayopagooda parirabdha kandaro raho no mantrair apakrishta chetanaha nakala rambho bubude duratyayam divanisheti pramada parigraha. Taya upagoda, embraced by the queen. Parirabdha kandaro, held by the neck. Raho anumantrair, attracted in his mind by her private jokes. Apakrishta chetanaha, captured by the woman. Na bubude, he was not aware. Kalaramho duratyayam, of the power of insurmountable time. Divanishi iti, of the passing of days and nights. Okay. So, now he has given up. He has come back from hunting. He is no longer hunting. He has situated himself in dharmic life. So naturally, King Prachina Barihishad would have expected that Narada Muni would glorify this Puranjana now. But Narada Muni apparently does not seem to be very excited by Puranjana's actions. He doesn't seem to be very excited by Puranjana's actions now. He says that time is going. Time is passing. No, why would you say time is passing? When someone is utilizing his time in an inappropriate way. But here is Puranjana living a dharmic life. If he is living a dharmic life, then why should Narada Muni say that time is passing? Which means that apparently dharmic life in itself, dharmic material life in itself is not very adorable. You know, it is not very adorable. It's not the best way of spending time. Okay. It's not the best way of spending time. So here he says that Taya Upagudaha, embraced by the queen, held by the neck, attracted in his mind by her private jokes, captured by the woman. He was not aware of the power of insurmountable time, of the passing of days and nights. He was attracted by her private pleasing words. He lost his intelligence for crossing samsara because of mantras concerning dharma and karma. This is the meaning. What were her private jokes? She was dharmic intelligent. Okay. Her private jokes were the mantras and the various rituals which were meant for inspiring the person to enjoy in this material world. Okay, do this, you will go to Swarga. Do this, you will enjoy in this material world. So like that. So therefore, it is mentioned that he was attracted by her private pleasing words, which means he lost his intelligence for crossing samsara. He lost or he never had, whatever. Because of mantras concerning dharma and karma. Okay. Because of mantras concerning dharma and karma. So he was not aware of the force of time because he had no detachment. He was not aware that day and night had passed, day had passed and night had arrived. Okay. This is the nature. Sometimes we devotees may also get carried away by these kind of things. Okay. So by these kind of dharmic attachments. See, it is just like a person who is preparing, a student who is preparing for his board exams or his JEE preparation. Let's say he had some sinful addictions, like, watching pornography or something like that. Now, he becomes attached to, he gives that up and he starts watching sports. Okay. The pornography or sports is not going to get him a JEE seat. He has to study his books. So he just gave up the worst way of wasting time to a little better way of wasting time. That's what Narada Muni is communicating here. Okay. So this Puranjan, he went for hunting. His legally wed wife became very upset and she would not return back to him. Now that he gave up that hunting, gave up that sinful life, and finally struggled very much to pacify his dharmic intelligence, now he is enjoying with his dharmic intelligence, and Narada Muni and Prachina Parishad would have expected, would have expected Narada Muni to appreciate Puranjan, but he says, time was passing away. And Prachina Parishad should have wondered, isn't this the way? Isn't this the best way to pass time? Why you seem to be lamenting? You don't say, when someone is very sincerely practicing bhakti, you don't say, Prabhu, day and night are just passing away like that. You don't say like that. Why do you say? Because he is properly engaged. When someone is not properly engaged or appropriately engaged, and when there is less time, you say, Prabhuji, time is just flying. Time is just flying. So here Narada Muni is telling about Puranjan, time was just flying, slowly hinting. So initially he was criticizing sinful life. Now he has started criticizing pious life also. Now he has started criticizing pious life also. So this is the point, that attachment to dharma. I mean, we have spoken about it so many times, and these arguments keep coming for devotees also. This kind of attachment to dharma can come in many different ways. People say that, oh, no. Hmm, even devotees should start performing Sandhya Vandanam and other such uh, dharmic rituals and things like that. And the argument that they give, is that you see devotees watching TV nowadays. You see devotees watching, going for movie nowadays. Okay. So if they have time to do those things, why can't they do Sandhya Vandanam? And why can't they do these kind of dharmic, sometimes they may even say demigod worship, like that. Why they can't do? Isn't doing Sandhya Vandanam better than watching a movie? This is the argument. Now, this looks like a Brahmastra argument. This looks like a solid Brahmastra argument, that, oh, can't they engage in Sandhya Vandanam instead of watching a movie? Now, this is a very unfair this thing. Okay. Now, Sandhya Vandanam is not performed for entertainment. Sandhya Vandanam is performed as a sadhana. So you have to replace apples with apples and oranges with oranges. Okay. Now, if you want to replace movie, replace it with sports. Because movies and sports are performed for entertainment. Now they say, now you will say, so the point is, Sandhya Vandanam is performed for as a sadhana, chanting, hearing, etc. are performed as sadhana. So now, Their argument is that, oh, if they have time for watching a movie, why can't they do Sandhya Vandana? So what they will do, when they are forced to perform Sandhya Vandana, they will watch that movie, perform Sandhya Vandana, and take that time out of their chanting, not out of their entertainment. Because you are trying to replace their entertainment with sadhana, that won't happen. They will replace one sadhana with other sadhana. Then you say, oh, he's still watching TV. Not just one Sandhya Vandana. Make him do 3 Sandhya Vandanas. Okay. Oh, he's still watching TV. 3 Sandhya Vandanas. Try to make him elaborately perform the Sandhya Vandanas. Half an hour, half an hour, half an hour. 3 times. What he will do? He will watch 2 hours TV, do 1.5 hours of Sandhya Vandana and leave chanting completely. Okay. So basically, this kind of an argument that, oh, if they have time for watching TV, if they have time for watching TV, why shouldn't they do Sandhya Vandana and all those things? Doesn't happen like that. Okay, all these various dharmic rituals, this one, that one, that one, do this, do this. Okay, we are Brahmanas, we are Bharatiyas, we have to do this, we have to do that, and all that. It creeps in from nowhere, and people give this kind of argument that if you have time for watching TV, why can't you do this? If you have time for watching TV, why can't you do that? And things like that. So ultimately, we have to understand that it is not a limb of bhakti, and it is not recommended by our acharyas. So if someone is struggling with their own conditionings, they have become attached to watching TV or things like that, they can be encouraged to engage in more likable forms of devotional service, which will give them some entertainment value also. Which will give them some entertainment value also. Maybe they could form a small devotee club where they practice, some drama, making some Krishna conscious skits or dramas, and they can perform, whatever. So, if people are distracted by sense gratificatory activities, then one should try to inspire them to engage in Krishna conscious activities which are very likable to them, rather than keep replacing it with some Sandhya Vandana and this thing and that thing and that thing, which are limbs of karma and not limbs of bhakti. Ananushthanato dosho bhaktyangānām prajāyate. Na karmanām akaranāt esha bhakti adhikarinah. Nishiddha ācharato daivat prayaschittam tu na uchitam. Iti Vaishnava Shastrānām rahasyam tadvidām matam. This is the point that Srila Rupa Goswami very clearly says. So people should not say, oh, I was born in a Brahmana family and now how you can say that I should not be doing the Brahmanical rituals and things like that. So now, yeah, if Srila Prabhupada says that you should be doing, then we will do. If not, then why we should do? Like that. Okay, let us continue. So here is, interestingly, Narada Muni was still now seemed to be little critical of adharmic way of Puranjan, which definitely Prachina Parishad would have appreciated, because he was also a very dharmic person. Now he has started, he slowly seems to be critical of the dharmic life also of Puranjan, because the purpose of Narada Muni is to distract Prachina Parishad from a mere material dharmic life and bring him to spiritual life, the life of bhakti. But for that, he initially criticizes adharmic life, which would have really captivated and Prachina Parishad, and he would have earned Prachina Parishad's trust. But now that he trusts him, and he starts criticizing dharmic material life also. Okay. So he says, शयान उन्नद शयान उन्नद्द मदो महामना महार्हतल्पे महिषी भुजोपदिः तामेव वीरो मनुते परं यतस् तं तमो विभूतो न निजं परं च यत्. Lying down on a valuable bed on the pillow of his wife's arms under extreme illusion, generous in giving charity, he thought his wife to be the ultimate goal in life, not the Jiva or the Supreme Lord, because he was defeated by ignorance. Now he is calling this Dharmic Puranjan as defeated by ignorance. Uh, so, so now he is calling this Dharmic Puranjan as defeated by ignorance. This would have been a shock to Prachina Parishad. So he says he made a pillow. He made a pillow of his wife's arms. In another version, Bhujopadi becomes a modifier of Shayana. Because of sex life, he thought that she was the ultimate. He thought that association with wife was the goal of life. Another version has Amanuta instead of Manute. He did not consider himself or anyone else because he was defeated by ignorance. Now, the spiritual meaning is that because association with dharma represented by his wife, because of association with dharma which is represented by his wife, he became attached to dharma and that became his goal of life rather than liberation because he did not know himself as Jiva and did not know the Lord. He became engrossed in dharma and thought of performing charities. He slept on a valuable bed. He was engrossed in pious acts. He made a pillow of his wife's arms. He was covered by ignorance or upadhi. Tayaivam ramamanasya kamakashmalachetasah kshanardam iva Rajendra vyatikrantam navam vayah. O Rajendra, O king, kamakashmalachetasah. Now he seems to be criticizing. Nardamani seems to be in a very critical, he's speaking about Puranjan, who has returned back to his dharmic self in very critical words now. He's calling him Kama Kashmala Chetasah, with his heart soiled by lust. Now, Prachina Parishad must be wondering, this is in similar words you described when he went for hunting. Now he has returned back. You're still calling him Kama Kashmala Chetasah. Tayaeva Ramamanasya. But she is his legally wed wife. What's the problem? As he enjoyed with his wife. Navam Vayaha Vyatikrantam. His youth passed away. Shana Ardhamiva. In just half a moment, his youth passed away. Okay. Anyone would like to volunteer to read? Yes. Santosh Prabhu. Stand up.
Puranjan enjoyed with his wife, being completely controlled by her charming actions.
Puranjan, the soul, giving up inclination for sinful life, becomes attached to the dharmic intelligence that is his wife as before.
The king welcomed the satisfied queen, who bathed and ornamented nicely before presenting herself to Puranjana.
Seeing that his dharmic intelligence was happy and satisfied and freed from contamination in mind, he felt himself successful.
Enjoying with his queen, King Puranjana did not notice the passing away of time.
Being absorbed in karmakanda, which is compared to enjoying with his queen, he lost his intelligence for crossing samsara. He was not aware of the force of time because he had no detachment.
Lying down on a valuable bed on the pillow of his wife's arms under extreme illusion, he thought his wife not the Jiva or the Supreme Lord, to be the ultimate goal in life.
Engrossed in pious acts, which is compared to lying on a valuable bed, and covered by ignorance, which is compared to lying on the pillow of his wife's arms, he thought dharma, which is his wife, and not self-realization or God realization to be the highest goal of life.
Thus, enjoying with his wife, his youth passed away in a half a moment.
Thus engrossed in dharma, his youth passed away in half a moment. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, please.
So, anyways, what happens to this Puranjana? We will continue this discussion tomorrow. But before that, if there are any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share, ask, add, we can take it right now. There are some questions in the chat box. Let's take them first. Okay, feeding the good dog and pacifying the queen eats same thing. What? Okay, I don't. Feeding the good dog and pacifying the queen means the same thing. Yeah, correct. I mean, in this particular context, of course. Okay. Okay, there is one more comment by Kalanidhi Prabhu. It says, it troubles my mind to know that sinful pleasures have greater power over the soul than dharmic intelligence at all times. Well, this is because of the nature of the human body. In general, it is mentioned, Rajo adhikaha karma para dukkeshu sukamanina. When Brahmaji created the bodies of human beings, he defined, how the nature of that body. He said, uh, Rajo adhikaha. They are predominantly in Rajas. That's why the sinful gratification is more attractive than the dharmic intelligence. For most people, yeah, most of the living entities feel that's the highest, that living dharmic life is the highest. Yes, that is true. Okay, there is another comment question. Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate authority, no doubt. Sometimes just by hearing a few lectures or reading a few contexts of Srimad Bhagavatam, some devotees come to the final decision of a particular case of their life or others and become depressed or make judgments, as there are many dimensions to consider the case. Okay, this seems to be a very vague statement. I don't really understand what is being mentioned here. If you would like to clarify it by raising your hands, then you can explain what it exactly means. I'm not able to understand what they're trying to communicate here. Yes, Vilasini Radha Mataji. Can you unmute yourself and speak?
Hare, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, most of time I come across with some cases along, with my devotee group of friends and also with my relatives that whenever something happens in a particular life or their life, uh, when they come from particular lecture or they attend some seminar, after coming from that particular lecture or seminar, they just start concluding that, oh, that was the case happened with me or that person, so this is completely wrong, this should not be done, and they just become depressed. So I come across many cases of such things, so that's why I was feeling that here in this case also, in the King Puranjan's story, here also if we hear particular aspects his having this dharmic intelligence, then it can also happen that prematurely they may think that, oh, this is completely wrong. So although there are other aspects also to consider, like, this varies to case to case. So I was just thinking of that point.
No, I
And
mean,
just
again, can you give some examples? I'm not able to understand. It's very, I mean, what you're mentioned is little bit vague. It's sounding little vague to me. I'm not able to still understand what exactly you're trying to communicate.
Prabhuji, I just want to mention that we cannot come to the conclusion just by hearing one lecture or one particular topic of the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Uh, Whatever is happening in this with us, we have to take help of the person or a counselor. I was
Yeah,
just mentioned point of
yeah,
that
that
thing.
is, yeah, correct. Yeah, I
That will
agree.
be-
Yeah.
Thank
Okay. Uh, okay, there is another question in the chat box. What if someone is inclined to do these karmic activities which are not against bhakti and dharmic? At most, it is dharmic sense gratification and not sinful, right? Well, if someone is attached to doing it, then you have to understand, is it just attachment like wanting to, uh, uh, you know, uh, uh, like a sadhaka wanting to watch TV? He knows it is not correct, but he is just attached to doing it, and he does it while when the urge becomes very difficult. Is it like that? Or the person thinks that, oh, I am a Brahmana and I have to do it like that. So it's a question of, attachment to dharmic means, is the attachment on the level of his conditioning, or is the attachment on the level of his conviction? There is a difference between conviction and conditioning. Both can provide a very strong force. Okay. Both can push a person. So a person may do something because he is conditioned. So in such cases, Arjuna indicates this principle very clearly. Ata kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushah anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitah. What is pushing a person to perform a sinful action unwillingly? So by indicating it as papam and anichan, very clearly he indicates that it is not an appropriate act to be performed. That is being very clear. That is made very clear. So anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitah. So so similarly here, so that is the push of the conditioning. But conviction can also be a powerful force. So conviction means you are logically convinced that this has to be done. Conditioning means, oh, I am helplessly pushed to do it. So now, this person performing the dharmic activities, is he pushed by his conditioning or conviction? If he is pushed by his conditioning, that's fine. But I rarely see such people who are pushed to perform dharmic activities or which fall within the category of dharma, but out of conditioning. Mostly it might be conviction. They think that it has to be done. Okay. So as long as one is very clear that it need not be done, it is not a part of bhakti. Okay. Then it's okay. So yeah, most people it is conviction, because who would have who would be so very conditioned to do Sandhya Vandanam? It must, these things come from, mm, conviction only. It does not come through conditioning. Okay. Okay. Yes, now we will come to, yes, Radhika Sevika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yes.
Prabhuji, the last chapter you were discussing that when the man bathes in the holy river and then when he starts having regulated diet, that itself becomes his guru. So there we are referring to his material dharmic intelligence as his guru?
Yeah.
Okay, which brings me to the point that now suppose a person is a normal person who has a material dharmic intelligence. He is under the laws of karma, and Narada Muni has been glorifying bhakti even above pious activities, because the devotee, even if he commits sins, as you had explained in Canto 3, it is due to the Canto 2. It is due to the Mahamaya orchestrated by Krishna, not individual law of karma. So now, Prabhu, there are certain occasions where I see there are certain situations where you are supposed to take a political stand, and you are supposed to commit certain activities which you can say, and the material level could be capricious action. So now a devotee is, let's say, intentionally committing a capricious action. Would he be under the laws of karma, or would it be the Mahamaya orchestrated by Krishna, that he's committed a wrong action, but I'll punish him as much as I want to?
What is a capricious action?
A wrong actions, a purposeful sinful activity he could have
What is a
committed.
purposeful sinful activity?
Let's say, for example, he was tempted to steal, or let's say he was
He
tempted to
was
trouble someone.
tempted to steal, or he was convinced that he should be stealing.
He was convinced he should be stealing.
So which means he thinks that it is not wrong to steal.
Right.
How do you know that?
The situation could be in such a way that, I mean, it could just be a situation. It could just be a condition that is,
No.
let's say,
I am
let's,
asking you,
yeah,
how
yeah.
do you know, unless you're talking about yourself,
Uh-huh.
how do you know that the other person was convinced but not just conditioned?
Prabhuji, convinced because in certain circumstances, like we see, people are very much frustrated. They don't get their due share when they start on to doing something like very, we can say methodically or enthusiastically. I know of many devotees, like, okay, I took on to Krishna consciousness, but things are not being fairly judged to me in the temple, or things are not being fairly allocated to me. So it is all right. I mean, I was supposed to report this to the management, but let's say somebody offered something to the deity, I will appropriate it to myself. He thinks it is all
Okay,
right to appropriate to himself because he hasn't been
how do
given
you
his
know
due
that
share.
he thinks that it is all right to appropriate to himself? Did he tell you?
No, he didn't say. But
So how do you know?
Prabhuji, if there is a situation, let's say a devotee thinks, all right, this man is troubling me too much. He is not allowing me to do my devotion properly. I'm just taking an extreme example. Let me harm him. So what do we say? Is it conditioning, or does he think it is right to do it?
That might be his conditioning also. How do you know?
Mhm. No, I'm just taking.
Does he sit on the Vyasasan and preach that this is what should be done? Does he say
No,
that?
no. He doesn't say
Uh,
that.
Then
So
how do you know that he is convinced that he should be doing that?
I mean, if there's a situation, so I just wanted to know. My question
No,
was, what is it
my
wrong?
question is to
Uh-huh,
you is,
uh-huh,
your conclusion
uh-huh.
is based on your observation of his actions, right?
Right.
Now, the action can be triggered by conviction, or the action can be triggered by conditioning. How do you know
Mm-hmm.
what is the driving force behind that
Mm-hmm.
when it is not visible to you?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know? Unless you are talking about yourself, when you know clearly what is the intention. How do you know when you're talking about others, when you get to see only their actions? How do you know that they're acting according to their convictions and not conditions?
Mm-hmm. So let's say it is according to conviction. I mean, I just wanted to understand for my own self. Let's say it's
No,
according to
but I
conviction.
cannot answer because when you don't know, because
Mm-hmm.
when I answer, then the next time when you see that person,
Mm-hmm.
you will assume that he is acting like that according to his conviction and judge him like that,
Mm-hmm.
when he might be acting like that out of conditioning. So, such kind of questions,
Mm-hmm.
we do not know.
Okay.
Even if the person comes and tells you,
Mm-hmm.
that may not necessarily be true.
Okay. So if I take two scenarios, one is conviction, one is conditioning. So where is the law of karma applying on the devotee, and where is it that the Mahamaya is being orchestrated by Krishna? If he's convinced that yes, I'm doing is right, even though if it is wrong, then is it the law of karma, or is it the Mahamaya orchestrated by Krishna if he's a devotee?
See, the point is,
Mm.
if he has taken up to devotional service,
Mm.
he will be punished for any bad act. Whether it comes from law of karma or whether it comes from Krishna, how does it matter? He will be punished. That's the point.
He'll be punished. That if he commits any activity. But is there any difference in the devotee being punished and the normal person? That is what you had explained, Prabhuji. That
Yeah,
it is.
if he is a devotee, then the way he is punished, he will come to know that it is not very favorable for Krishna consciousness. He should mend his ways and properly practice Krishna consciousness. That's all.
Okay, but punishment will come.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So, but it means the law of karma is not applying to the devotee, no? Even if he is doing anything intentionally wrong.
He will get punishment because sometimes people have a problem when you say law of karma does not apply on devotees. The point is he will get reaction for whatever he does. It may be directly from Krishna or it may be from law of karma, but he will get the reaction.
No, but my question is, how can law of karma apply to him? He could be getting a more severe punishment by Krishna than the law of karma if he has done anything wrong.
Maybe, may not be. Yeah.
Then does it mean that still law of karma can apply to devotees?
No, it does not.
Okay, but the punishment could be even more severe by Krishna if Krishna decided.
If Krishna decides, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, and whether that action is conditional or by conviction.
It cannot be by conviction.
Okay. It has to be by condition. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mother Gail.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Remember when you were talking about Ranjan and his wife, and I forget now, it was something about some secrecy between them. Remember that context?
Yeah, secret discussions between husband and wife.
Yeah.
Private discussions. That
Yeah,
is
what was
compared
the
to the
significance?
that is compared to the mantras which are chanted for better material prospects, like that. The Karmakandiya mantras by which that's what he is talking about.
But why would that be described as secret?
Secret means it's just take it in the form of a story. It's a conversation between the wife, because the wife is the dharmic material intelligence, and she's telling, oh, you do this, you can enjoy. You do this, you can enjoy, like that. So the dharmic material intelligence is telling, oh, you want to enjoy in the Swarga, you can do this yagya, you can do this, you can chant this mantra, like that.
Okay, I still don't know why it would be described in that way, but okay. Also, one thing that I was confused about was we were saying that Ranjan was attached to his dharmic wife, right?
Yeah.
Materially dharmic wife.
Dharmic intelligence, which is his wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how is it that he was attached to her, who is, dharmic, of a dharmic intelligence, yet he was performing killings that were against the rules? That doesn't sound like attachment to dharma.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a sadhaka who is attached to bhakti, but sometimes gets distracted due to his conditions. That's what he was doing.
Okay. Just one last thing, Prabhu. When you were answering one other devotee's question, you brought up the fact that we are, as jivas, primarily constructed in the mode of passion by Lord Brahma, right? So it reminded me of, I think, secondary creation.
Yeah.
I just want confirmation that as jivas, our bodies are primarily in the mode of passion, but we say we are in various modes because those various modes are like on top of that foundational, passionate matter, right?
Yeah.
Our bodies, yeah. So yeah, it's just like the cake is passion, right? But the
Yeah.
icing might be passion, goodness, or ignorance. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So there is another thing in the chat box. Let's see. Is Narada Muni criticizing Kamya Karma only? Right now, yes. Right now, yes. Later, he will criticize the Nityanayamitika karmas also. Because yes, just he will take it step by step. First, he criticizes adharma. Now he will criticize Kamya Karma. Then he will criticize Nityanayamitika karma. And then he will establish Bhakti. Okay, like that. Okay. He may give up bhakti also because he has not completely purified himself of sinful tendencies. Okay. Shyam Sundaranand, would you like to clarify what exactly you're trying to communicate? Can you please raise your hands? I will unmute you.
No, no. Actually, this is in continuation to the previous question about the conviction itself. Many devotees answered that is that the conviction, which is, you answered also like that. So we also see that so when the person is conditioned or in a certain way because of his past association allegiance, so he is not purified. Even as devotees, we understand that there are so many desires which are not conducive to devotional service in our heart.
Correct.
And now we are saying that we have taken up to devotional service, and the acharyas give us that leverage that we can still call ourselves devotees and practice bhakti. Now, having said that, condition for sinful tendencies is still there, and we are not yet even at the rock bottom to say that we at least even cross the anartha nivritti also. Right.
Okay.
So at that stage, if since Krishna, it is not like also I have this thing that whatever the angas of bhakti which we are practicing, these are taken from these are also from the Vedas. I mean, I am not saying that the Vedas are whatever knowledge in this world we have, it is taken from the Vedas. The acharyas are supporting whatever is conducive to that that our bhakti. They have taken those activities and given as part of devotional sadhana, right?
Correct.
So then if some of those limbs like chanting the mantras, for example, I come from a Brahmin family, so I have that nature, like because of my association from my childhood. I have that inclination to recite mantras, which help me remember Bhagavatam slokas, right? And I also recite, like to recite Lord's Ashtatra. Earlier, I may be reciting some other Ashtatra or Sahasra. Now I recite Krishna Ashtatra or Vishnu Ashtatra, Vishnu Sahasranam. So all these things are there. So these tendencies are there, and they are not going to go away just like that, because they are like this is our upbringing and our condition maybe from the past also. That's why we get taken birth in this kind of setup, right? Now, having said that, that is not non-devotional per se. So they will assist us. In fact, if I say I worship the deity with Ashtotra, it is a conducive factor only, not this thing. But the problem is when I think that this in itself is going to take me back to Godhead, that is I understand that I don't have any confusion in that pure devotional services is above all these things, and even if
So
I don't chant it,
at least you accept that these things which are chanting does not fall within the category of pure devotional service.
yeah, of course, yeah, because it's not that
Then can you
anybody who
please
has
tell
to go
me,
to back to Godhead.
then can you please tell me why is it that you still want to do it? Is it just like someone gets attracted to watching TV? Is it like that or do you think that it's a type of sadhana? that you are practicing?
Sometimes actually I asked this question of myself, so it was difficult for me to answer, because it may be sometimes it is due to some fear, and sometimes it is
Fear.
yeah,
No. Okay,
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Okay. Fear of what?
I don't know, because I was
What
programmed in such
if I don't chant, what will happen? Maybe something wrong may happen to me, like that.
perhaps.
Otherwise, how would you
Yes,
explain the
also.
fear?
Yes, also. Yes.
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 So, do you
That
watch
means I don't
TV
have
because do you watch TV because you are afraid that something karmically bad might happen to you?
No, never.
So you watch TV because you are bored.
Correct.
Huh?
Correct.
You don't chant mantras because you are bored. You
Correct.
chant mantras because you grew up when your parents told, if you if you chant this mantra, you will become free of this thing. If you don't chant it, this will happen. If you don't chant it, you grew up hearing that, so it has gone into your value system. This is not a part of your conditioning.
Correct.
Right? So now, like one another point that you brought out was, we are not purified.
Yes.
Okay? We are not sufficiently purified. So therefore, we have to do these things which will purify. Now the point is, what does Cheto Darpana Marjanam means?
Anartha Nivritti.
Accomplished by what? Karma or bhakti?
Bhakti only.
That's the point. That is why prior purification is not a prerequisite for bhakti. And bhakti itself can purify. Now, this is another point which people kind of insert. We are not so pure to practice pure bhakti. Therefore, we have to practice this karma, that thing, and all that. Like that. As if bhakti has no purifying capacity only. We are not so pure to practice pure bhakti. Then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the very first effect of pure bhakti or chanting the holy names, what did he mean exactly? So did he mean that only for those who are reasonably already purified by practice of karma, the higher purification will come through the holy name? Is that what he meant? Hey, Shama, you have muted yourself by mistake, I think. Can you please raise your hands? There is. Okay, anyways. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Actually, there was noise, so I muted myself so that it will not be disturbing. Yeah. So, can you ask that question? I lost track of that question.
So I was just asking. Even I lost track. What was I asking? What was the topic we were discussing?
We are discussing about that it is coming from the fear, right? Because of the fear aspect.
So the point is it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that when he said Cheto Darpana Marjanam, that the holy name can purify the heart of all the sinful tendencies and desires, did he mean that for those whose hearts have been preliminarily purified to a particular level by practice of karma, from there on, the holy name will purify? Did he mean like that?
No. Anyone can, at any stage, can take up to bhakti and they can purify themselves completely.
By practice of bhakti. So,
yes, correct.
So the point is these various convictions.
Okay? Yes.
So you are convinced that Ashtotra Shatanama should be chanted for overcoming fear and all that. Someone
No,
says,
actually, not every time. I want to clarify. I don't say that I chant Sahasra or Ashtatra because of fear. I don't know. And not know. I know. I also know that bhakti is the means. I can see that there are devotees who don't have any allegiance to this, but they are more purified and more qualified in bhakti. So I don't have any doubts regarding that. We also have Bhagavatam where we say that even a Chandala can purify himself and the whole generations. There is no problem. I personally, because of the conditioning which I got from my past, am as well having allegiance with that. And I don't say this is the predetermining factor, and or I don't say that this is superior. I become superior because I have this conviction. Perhaps of course, the second statement, when someone takes in a birth in a Brahmin family or someone, I am not saying that others are less. No, so or you can say let's take out that Brahmana. You can say someone is born in some a very rich family, right? So that means they have taken and they have done some meritorious deeds in their past, right?
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah.
But that in itself does not qualify them for bhakti. Neither it is an essential thing for them to go back to Godhead.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no doubt for me in that provision. My only thing is I am born in a certain setup and I have this inclination which is not adharmic. And
but not everything which is dharmic is conducive for bhakti.
Okay, so my question is like, is this pious conditioning a hindrance for bhakti?
It can be. It can be. Pious conditionings can be a hindrance to bhakti. Like I can give you many examples. But the point is, pious conditionings can be. That's why there is sukrutotta anarthas are there. Anarthas which are born out of pious conditionings. But they are anarthas because they are obstacles to bhakti. So the point is, yes, we may have conditionings, that is okay. But our conviction should be clear. Like we are here to follow our sampradaya acharyas. So whatever the sampradaya defines as what should be done at what time, what should be done for what, and all that, that should be our guiding light.
Okay.
That is the point. And one should not bring in, oh, my ancestors did this. That's, we are not here to, the parampara is not to follow the ancestors. How do you know whether your ancestors even followed their ancestors? Are you sure? Maybe there was one Shyam Sundaranand Prabhu like yourself in your ancestors who decided to follow the ISKCON of that time, and that became the norm. So probably he is not even following the ancestors. You are thinking that. So the point is, we have not joined a society which is International Society for Ancestors Karma Consciousness. We are here to follow International Society for Krishna Consciousness. That's what happens when you accept a parampara. When you accept the parampara means parampara teachings. Of course, we all are transitioning into Krishna consciousness through a prior value system. So now we cannot, the problem with picking and choosing that, oh, this is conducive, I will pick, this is not conducive, I will not pick. The problem with that is that at some point we may lose track about what is conducive and what is not conducive. It is easier to accept, the package given by our acharyas. And incidentally, if in that package something comes which we had already practiced, then it is very good. I'm telling in terms of the value system.
Yeah, correct. When you say value system, which we got from our parents or someone, which we accrue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay, bro?
Yeah. So then that means, then I also wrote that our conviction itself is arising from our past conditionings, right?
Not necessarily. Yeah, certain. When I say conviction, it means in terms of faith. in terms of faith, in terms of value system. There is a slight difference between conditioning and value system. Our value system may condition us in particular ways. But value system cannot be born out of conditioning. But our value system may condition us in particular ways. So you got the causality wrong. Okay, they are connected, but they are connected in the opposite way than what you presented. Our value systems condition us in particular ways. It's not the other way around.
Prabhuji, I see that, okay, there is someone who is, I'm talking a very raw example, not connected, but someone sees some animals being killed from their childhood, right, in front of them. And then after that, for them, after they grow up, by seeing that, killing an animal or harming someone doesn't make any so much of a pain for them, because they are conditioned
you know why?
to see that bloodshed.
It's not just conditioned. It's not just conditioning. It's because those people, seniors, parents, who are set to represent or present the value systems of the tradition, when they did that, what is communicated to the child is, this is good, this is right. So through that subtle value system, the child gets conditioned in that way. So value system is there. So when his friends do, that may not, there might still be when its friends do something which is not done by the parents, he may like it, but he may always have the doubt whether it is correct or not. But when parents do, the child says, if my father does, mother does, it must be correct. That's the unspoken value system that is communicated. And that unspoken value system conditions the child in that particular way.
But finally, even in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna does not want to fight, and he was seemingly wanting to go to the forest and do tapasya, Krishna discouraged him, and he said that he gave different arguments. Even as a Kshatriya, you have the dharma to fight. All these arguments he has given.
Yeah.
Right. So what about that then? So
that argument. So now let me ask you. I will take the Bhagavad Gita question only, argument only to you, and I will present 3 verses, and I will ask you a question. You should answer this question. Okay. Krishna says first to Arjuna, Hatova prapsyasi swargam jitvava bokshase mahim.
Yes.
Okay. He said, if you fight and lose, you will go to Swarga. If you fight and win, you will enjoy the kingdom. Okay. And then Krishna said to Arjuna, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala heturbur mate sangostu akarmani. Okay. So you are qualified to practice karma, but don't be attached to the fruits. This was the second thing that he spoke. Even though initially he said, Hatova prapsisi swargam jitvava bokshase mahim. You stand to gain, you will get enjoyment. You will get the fruits. But after some time he said, you are do your duty, don't be attached to the fruits. And later Krishna said, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. So all 3 statements were spoken by Krishna to Arjuna only.
Yes.
Right? One said, do dharma and you can enjoy. Another said, do dharma and but don't be attached to enjoyment. Yes. And later he said, give up dharma, just surrender to me. Now, of the 3 instructions, which you would follow?
The easiest one will be third.
Huh?
Easiest would be third.
Easiest would be third? I'm not talking about what does your conviction say? Which would you follow?
My conviction says that
and why?
Right now I feel the first one.
Oh, right now you see, you will do your duty and enjoy the fruits, right?
Yeah, because I feel that I am having the tendency of enjoyment. So
Yeah, tendency of enjoyment may be there, but
yeah,
would you want to enjoy by performing your karma kandiya duties, or uh,
I know that the actually I am transitioning from the first to the second. So
the
that
very
is
fact
like
that you say that you are transitioning from first to second means you are already in second, but struggling to give up first.
correct.
Are you transitioning from first to second or first to third? Because the
Actually,
very fact that you
my definition fits what you told earlier. Dukkho darkamsa garhayan, but still parityagopi
ah
aniswara. Means I don't.
exactly, which
Yeah,
means don't confuse your conditioning and conviction. You have
yeah.
conviction in something else, but conditioning in something else. We all fall within that category.
Hmm.
We all fall within that category. We have conviction somewhere, conditioning somewhere else. That is why we are sadhakas. If our conditioning and conviction were on the same line, we would be siddhas by now.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Hmm.
the point is, just because in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, it does not
Hmm.
mean it is applicable for sadhakas. In Bhagavad Gita,
Hmm.
Krishna says certain instructions for karma yogis, certain instructions for jnana yogis, certain instructions for ashtanga yogis, and certain instructions for bhakti yogis. So those
Hmm.
instructions which are relevant for us, we have to accept those instructions. Those instructions which are not relevant for us, we don't accept them.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm.
Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you. And I like yesterday I took so much of time today also.
Okay.
Sorry.
Relevant questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Shiva Kumar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranams, Prabhu.
Dhanavad Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. As always, giving hope in bhakti and giving hope for sadhakas. So, Prabhu, one reflection, Prabhu, quickly I wanted to share. I hope I am not generalizing it, but I'm just sharing honest reflection that I'm having right now as we speak in past couple of days. And I also have a quick question around that, Prabhu. So, on this topic of conditioning and conviction, I was holding this opinion, wrong opinion of when I am put through some challenges, the people who are putting me through the challenges are doing it out of their free will deliberately, at least some part of it, and not out of conditioning. And I have been holding that opinion. In theory, I know it is wrong opinion, but still I was holding it.
Yeah.
In between, I had theoretical conviction that my opinion is wrong, but I was not able to change it. But when I was put through their situation against someone by someone else, that whatever I am not able to do it, you are doing it deliberately and you are not doing it out of conditioning. When I went through that pain, then I realized that it is the same conditioning that others also are under the influence of and they are acting that way. So to me, Prabhu, it seems it is double punishment. I mean, it is not to take away the inconvenience that I am already going through because of others' conditioning. On top of it, I am repenting for ill-treating them, thinking that they are doing it out of their free will or deliberately. So the learning comes only out of the pain, personally experiencing it when someone else puts me into that situation. So
Now, who is that someone else who put you through that experience?
devotees.
No, Krishna.
Okay.
Krishna through the devotees.
Yes, Prabhu. Maybe, yeah. Krishna through the agency of devotees. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. So my question, Prabhu, it seems there is no escape from the personal pain that teaches you the values of the system that we are put through. Is there any workaround that we hear day in, day out? We have faith, but it seems it is not really getting into the bottom of the heart.
Yeah, certain things will take time. And sometimes we we very tightly hold on to, we don't concede defeat even to what Krishna puts us, because the ego is very deeply trenched. So sometimes Krishna has to painfully pull it out. So sometimes, if you have a heart ailment, sometimes by medicines it can get cured. Sometimes you have to put a stent, you have to do an angioplasty. Sometimes you have to do an open heart surgery, because if it is very deep. And So depends on the nature sometimes. So the pain can be alleviated to the extent that at least we have some Vaishnavas whom we can associate with, and in their association, the pain gets alleviated.
Okay. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. Very enlightening, very enlivening. Thank you, bro.
Right. Pavan Gorang, bro.
Thank you for nice discussions today. Prabhuji, my question is this: what is the you mentioned about the conviction and conditioning, right? So,
Yeah.
which one is likely to be superior for the practitioner of devotional service? Which one will be the more suitable one? Like one thing, another question is also like
No, first
even
question only
sometimes,
I didn't understand, bro.
yeah, like you mentioned the difference between conviction and conditioning, right?
Yeah.
So
Conviction
in
means your conviction that Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. That is conditioning. That is conviction.
yeah,
Conditioning means, oh, I like to eat vada pav from this street shop. Oh, whenever I pass through that, my mouth waters. That is conditioning. So this is one is conviction, one is conditioning.
yes, Prabhu. Now, as you mentioned for Samson and Prabhu's question, like from the parents also, we do have some value system we are getting, right? Whether what is good or bad in terms of that. So,
Yeah.
inherent we are getting from that. So, even that value system itself also sometimes will be in a conditioning, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Once you accept a newer value system, like we all are transitioning we all have transitioned into bhakti from a prior value system. For some of us, it was whatever parents told we should do. That was a value system.
Yes.
For some of us, it may be whatever the Dharma Shastras say we will do. That is the value system. So we have transitioned into a newer value system. When we have transitioned into a newer value system, we accept, okay, this is right. Whatever the previous value system was wrong. But the previous value system has already instilled some conditionings in us.
Okay. Okay.
So that may remain. So it
Yes.
will take
Okay.
some
That's
time
me.
for that conditioning to go away.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you. And one more question I have, Prabhuji, regarding the this one. You mentioned that for Puranjanavan, when he was that doership mentality you were mentioning, right? So he
Yeah.
accepted some authority so that from the doership mentality he transitioned to non-doership mentality, right? Post that, and again when he given up all his other wives, now he is only with his when he again entered into with like wife means he had intelligence. Now that dharmic intelligence, how it will be again indulged in something like which is not so suitable for his path of his understanding about the soul and any other path of the
Yeah,
devotional
because
service. Why? Because
that
he
is just
accepted some authority. He accepted
yeah, but
some
that
authority.
authority, yeah, that authority itself is dharmic material authority only. It's not a spiritual authority.
What means dharmic, sorry, material dharmic intelligence means now here the doership mentality, one may be accepting the scripture also, no, Prabhuji, here.
Yeah,
One
he
accept
accepts
the
the
scripture,
scriptures,
yes.
but at least,
Now,
which means he accepts some subservience to scriptures. That's all.
okay, okay. Okay, I mean to say like here, the scripture will again we need to be decide on what kind of the acceptance here doing that. Do we need to consider that also again here?
Consider what?
The scriptures on what basis he is also accepting that non-doership mentality. Do we need to consider that also?
It's not like non-doership. The
Okay,
doership mentality has come down because of accepting scriptures. He's still
okay,
the doership mentality has not gone,
gone.
but
Okay,
at least because he has accepted the scriptures, it has come one step down. That's all.
oh, okay, okay, thank you.
Alanadi Pro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Prabhuji, on this allegory, at some point of time, Puranjana becomes remorseful and he wants to have a proper reconciliation with his wife.
Yeah.
So, but she's not immediately visible, and he's very anxious to again make contact with her. So at that time, he does make some efforts, a lot of efforts, along with regret, and eventually he's reconnecting with his wife.
Yeah.
So to understand this properly, at this point of time, he's disconnected from his dharmic intelligence, but he's making desperate efforts to reconnect. So does it imply that when dharmic intelligence is available to you, then you are happy in executing dharmic activities? It gives you happiness, actually. You are naturally inclined towards dharmic actions. But when disconnected from dharmic intelligence, in this case, he's recollecting that, oh, there was a time when I was with my wife and things were so nice, and I would like to go back to that situation. But at this junction, because of his inclination towards sinful activities, to execute dharmic activities becomes difficult for him. But still, against his own inclination, he performs dharmic activities repeatedly. Eventually, he attracts the attention of his wife, who is satisfied that, yeah, he is really regretful and is willing to make the efforts, so I will return to him. Is that how we should understand Prabhuji?
Correct. So we should understand at no point, so we have to understand, if I have to speak in the language of the allegory, Puranjani has not divorced Puranjan. And Puranjan has not divorced Puranjani.
Right.
It's just that he got distracted in between and got attracted to another woman. Okay. But the moment he realized his mistake, he came back. So he rectified from his side, but the wife will take some time. If she forgives immediately, then next time without thinking, you will again go.
Yeah.
So she takes some time, gives some punishment, makes him realize more deeply why what he has done is wrong, and then she comes back. So there was no divorce. That is why, because otherwise yesterday the same question came. If he has left his wife, which is the dharmic intelligence, where did the regret come from?
Yeah.
So the point is, he left his wife does not mean he has divorced his wife. The wife is still there. He just got distracted.
So there is a hiatus period during which dharmic intelligence is not fully back, but the person has to execute dharmic activities against his own conditioning. So that becomes a sort of a difficult period for him, because there's no taste, but he still has to execute out of his conviction only.
Yeah.
Is that correct understanding, Prabhuji?
Yes.
And slowly the taste will return, which means that dharmic intelligence has returned.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Champaklata Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. I will try to keep it very short. Actually, there is a girl, 14-year-old, in the prison, and she was born to a prostitute. And
14-year-old?
Yes, Prabhuji.
14, okay.
Yeah, and she was brought up in that brothel, and she had only seen, what kind of environment from her birth. And she was actually rescued last year at the age of 13 by an NGO called Prajwala. And then she was placed here in the juvenile prison for reformation. In the prison, not only the hardcore criminals, but also such girls, they are kept for, counseling and transformation. So over the last 1 year, the prison authorities said that she is an impossible child to change because she uses abusive language. And she even beats up people, and she's very difficult actually even to speak to. So they had actually told me that there are 3 girls in this entire prison, and if these 3 are changed, not only the whole prison, but we'll get convinced that outside also changes might come due to bhakti. So a lot of counselors had been brought in, but nobody could actually convince her. So, like, I had been going to the prison for the last 16 weeks precisely, and she has been attending all the sessions. So, initially, she used to come to me and, kind of try to instill fear in me, which was, of course, not possible. But she used to say, if only I get out of the prison, na, the first person I'll come to is your home. So I would, and then she would say, I would steal from your home. I would even disturb you, no? She said that. And then I told her, if at all you get to come to my house, very lovingly, I told her, you'll get to steal lot of things, prasadam, my DT dresses, like that. I gave her a few things, the japa beads and all. Then she kind of, squirmed and went away. Then subsequently, in one of the sessions, because I was targeting girls like her, I played the prayers of Pingala, the prostitute. Somehow the prayers touched this girl and also the others so deeply that after the session, she came and said, I want to talk to you because you counsel a lot of girls. I want an individual counseling from you. So by the time I counseled other girls, it was 5 in the evening. I go at 10:30 in the morning. So I told her, if you don't mind, can we sit together next week? But before leaving, I want to tell you that you have started chanting, and do you know how pretty you are and how beautiful you are from inside and out? So she cried and she said, I want to know what is this pretty, because she only knows Telugu, she doesn't know English. So, what is this pretty? So I said, you are a very beautiful girl. That's all, and I left. So when I came back the next week, she told I am chanting more number of rounds. Initially, I was chanting only one round. And all the conditioning during that 1 week, the prison authorities saw a lot of change in her. She stopped that abusive language because while leaving, not only did I say that you are very pretty and beautiful, you chant more. And also, I said that please speak very sweet language, because along with being pretty outside, you have to be pretty inside. And that speaks when you speak good language. So during that 1 week, she also prayed for her cook in the prison who was in the deathbed. So the superintendent was so touched. She said, we have been seeing notable changes not only in this girl, but others. So today I want to say that no matter what the conditionings may be, even her convictions to protect herself was to use abusive language. But because of her little Shraddha, her Swabhava is also slowly changing. So, whatever you speak in the classes, no, Prabhuji, I want to say today that bhakti can have a very, very deep impact even for those who have very strong sinful conditionings. And today's class also, somebody was, you were also mentioning that Sukrutota anarthas are subtle anarthas. So, in this girl's case, this Dushkrutota anarthas are strong, but even those Sukrutota anarthas can be strong in many cases. So whether it is Sukruti or Dushkruti will act like, as Srila Prabhupada said, the dry fecal matter and the wet fecal matter both are same. So when we change our Swabhava due to our Shraddha, that is Bhakti Shraddha, life can be an elevating trajectory. And one more thing that I wanted to say is, like watching movies or whatever, some things may be dharmic, but all these things are taking a person towards a lower trajectory, because when we go down, whether by doing sinful activities or sense gratificatory activities, are like, using or expending our energies to give ourselves a dopamine kick or makes us feel very happy at that moment. But bhakti is an elevating trajectory where you have to actually put in some effort. So that's the reason why it gives a very kind of, can I do it? Or, people become doubtful. Can I do it? Is it possible? Oh my God, it is so difficult to do like that. But when it is included with little bit of love and care, even that bhakti like becomes very easy, like your own Bhagavatam classes and so many other sessions that you conduct, Prabhuji, with so much of care and affection for all the devotees to elevate them. So I think one devotee in our life who Shraddha can actually build Shraddha in us, due to which our Swabhava can change. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. This is devotional service in action. This is devotional service in action. This is amazing. This is really, I mean, yeah, actually we have to hear and see these kind of things, and then we get the conviction that yes, it is possible. So what is their conditioning and what is our conditioning? If they can change, why can't we change? Yeah, I think the best part of the whole session today was the last 10 minutes session. That was the best session. Thank you very much. Okay. Anyways, Prabhu, I'm very, very sorry. You see, so many thank yous, gratitude notes, so many years, so much I have not received. Actually, you are receiving everything actually here by your wonderful service. We are also prisoners, actually. We are also prisoners of our own conditionings, of our own problems. So when we receive the Vaishnava's love, then anything can change, actually. It just needs a compassionate Vaishnava. And when they come and touch us, yeah, even if those prisoners, just like Srila Haridas Thakur said, you are prisoners, we all are prisoners, actually. Not just the person who is there within the prison. We are outside, but we are prisoners from inside. So whether they are in the real prison, of course, we are also in real prison, whether they are in the external prison or in the internal prison, the compassionate glance of a compassionate Vaishnava can change everything, actually. Everyone is looking for love. When that love comes from a devotee, then they are very fortunate. Because along with that love, they carry Krishna's grace. So of all kinds of compassion, if one becomes a recipient of the compassion of a devotee, then that's the greatest fortune. That's the greatest fortune. Thank you very much, Mataji. This is devotional service in action. I mean, how much ever I say, it will not create any impact. Whatever you shared in the last 10 minutes, so impactful. Yeah, for myself included. Thank you very much. Okay, so I wish to deeply apologize to Radha Pramod Prabhu. So much time has been taken. It's already 9:15. Do we have your session today? Would you like to take for a while, or what is your plan, Prabhu? Okay, we will do tomorrow. I really apologize. Tomorrow, I will exactly stop very early so that Prabhuji can take his class completely. I apologize again. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.